So, Mike, it's so good to have you here. Welcome to our Strengthening the Community podcast. And it's so exciting for me to have you join us and to come on as a co-host. This is really cool. So welcome. I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you. Excited to be here. Excited to be doing this with you. It's a new experience here. I'm excited about the journey that this podcast is going to take. The mission of it, I think, is fantastic and definitely well-deserved for the people that we serve in our community.
Sure. But you and I have known each other for a long time now, and your work at Access is really an extension of how you just live your life out there. It's relational, it's real people, and it's really that idea of humans helping humans. And that's really what the Strengthening Community podcast is about. We provide services, but people live in community, and we live in a connected way. And so we want to highlight some aspect of community life each time we meet, and to encourage people to be engaged in their community, in their neighborhoods with people.
If you want to help improve your community and make an impact, I think it has to come across as genuine and from a place that you really believe that the mission of this work is to help people find self-determination and build that sense of community.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited to be here. And like you said, we've done a variety of different work together in different ways. So this isn't technically the first Mike and Mark show. Right. But the first Mark and Mike podcast. So Excited to be here.
Mike and Mark, it sounds like a t-shirt we need to go get. So maybe we'll show up with some new swag for the next episode. In this episode, we're really talking about disabilities and how people just live in the community with their full selves, their authentic selves, as we've said. And this is the 35th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act, the ADA. I was providing services at Access. I was working at Access before that. And so I remember when that happened, and it was a pretty big deal. And it's really important for lots of people. It gave them rights that they did not have in terms of how they could be in the community and what they had access to in the community. So it was super important. But the challenge of that is it's just a law. Those are the rules, and it's really it just sets the lowest bar. It says don't do this stuff. Do you have to do better than this stuff in terms of including people in a workplace or in school or in the community? So it really was just the foundation, and then there was the whole idea of inclusion that sort of builds on that top of that foundation. It says beyond that, how should people be in the community, and how do we get them to be full members? How do we include them in the community life? And so that's been a cool thing to watch as we've sort of shaped services around that principle.
Yeah, I absolutely. I think, and like you mentioned, over time, how communities navigate this conversation and the treatment of individuals with disabilities, or how you just treat your neighbor to begin with, and kind of what we can do to help people feel more connected to one another. And what it means not just to be included, but to feel included, to feel involved. I think that's a big part of my experience, both here at Access and just in the field in general, and in my own community. I think everybody's community looks a little bit different and is shaped a little bit different based on where you are and who's around you.
Yeah, for sure. And I like you use the word belonging, and I think that's really that's the bullseye of the target. That's what we're really aiming for. Belonging is really the pinnacle. That's the thing we really want. And what we're saying is that when people belong and they know they belong, then they are contributing fully. They're using all of who they are. They can be their authentic selves in the community. And so they're better because of it. And conversely, when we leave people out, we diminish them as people, but we also diminish ourselves as a community.
Yeah, and I think when I have felt like most connected to my community is when populations of people invited me in, not just from a surface level involvement, but bring me into their life, something they're interested in, involve me in what they have going on in the day to day. It's a huge honor to be connected with a lot of families that I've known for a long time, where they have included me. And that's the biggest honor I could receive, is that now I can extend that to you. So it's a two-way street. Right. So I feel like that's an important theme as well. It's not just people including individuals with disabilities into kind of whatever activities your community is currently involved in, but also people with disabilities, including you in their lives, has been one of the biggest honors for me, and some of the most fulfilling times in my career, where I felt like, wow, there's not a lot of people that get a glimpse behind this curtain, and that's so unfortunate because they don't ask the right questions to get at that information about what is the world that some of these families and individuals are living in that I might not have access to because I'm not including myself, or I'm not thinking to ask. Yeah. How do we all come together, get to know each other, ask the right questions, spend time? Because when you care, when you get to know your neighbor, you're going to be more invested in what they have going on. You're going to be more willing to reach out a helping hand and offer that support. But this is about what can everybody do? What's everyone's responsibility in order to build a stronger community? What does that mean? Not the baseline of community survival, but what is a thriving community look like, and how can we put those drivers in place and convince people maybe to step out of their comfort zone a little bit to get that ball rolling. Yeah.
So we have we don't have live guests in this episode. This is a two-parter. So today we're going to our roving reporter Bree went out and interviewed a number of people, and we're gonna watch those videos, and the audience will watch them as well, and then you and I will just talk a little bit about what we see and how that fits what these guys are doing, and then next month, we're going to talk to some folks who are on the other side of this sort of the equation. They're out in the community, and they're creating spaces, community spaces, where everybody gets to come in the same. And so everybody belongs equally in those spaces. And so we'll talk a little bit next time about what does it take to be sort of community for folks, and to create opportunity and spaces for people to get to know each other in some of those meaningful mutual relationships. So the first clip we're going to watch is the Gruber brothers, and there's a spoiler alert, they're twins. You'll see that. And these two guys are just a hoot. They live together. They spend a lot of their time together. You can tell that they've just lived their lives together. But they're also living them pretty fully in the community. So let's just watch what they've had to say with Brianna, and then we'll come back and sort of talk about what we saw.
Hi, my name is Scott Grubb, and my name is Chris Grubb.
Are you guys twins?
Yes.
You are?
Yes.
We thought so. All right, let's start. Our first question is, what are your favorite things to do in the community?
Well, I like to show myself around baseball facilities, racetracks, hockey arenas, the bowling alley.
Wow. Sporty guy.
Yeah, I'm very sporty. Jeez, I didn't realize I liked all these sports. And likewise, the same for me, too. Sporting events, bowling, and stuff like that.
Okay, that's
Mr.
awesome.
199 here on Monday.
What does that mean?
He was one pin away from a 200 game.
Whoa, that's awesome. I love it. Yeah. I love it. Are you in a bowling league?
Yes.
Ooh, very cool. I'm very bad at bowling. Hits the gutter every time.
I used to be that way too.
I'll have to take some lessons from you guys.
He needs to get clean every once in a while.
Yeah. All right. So next question is, in what ways have your support team helped you to live the life that you want to live?
Oh, they helped me out. Big deal. They helped me out with cooking and cleaning and going shopping and counting money.
Wow.
They helped me out big time. And the same with me too. And it's also a very relaxing part of my day too.
Is it? Yeah. I love that. And why is that relaxing to you?
Because it gets me away from all the stress.
Just having a supportive person around. Yeah. What would you say you're most proud of in your life?
I'm pretty much proud of everything. I'm going to work. I'm having fun, and that's pretty much.
That's good stuff to be proud of.
Oh, I'm proud of, yeah.
I love that.
And basically, I'm proud of the same things. I'm having fun, going to work, living the daily life.
Amazing. Amazing. Proud of everything. That's a good place to be. What are things that you haven't done yet in your life that you would love to try?
Mm.
And it could be big or small.
That particular question is interesting because I've done everything already.
Yeah.
Roller coasters. That's a thrill ride right there. That's very good. But there's not much on that list anymore.
No, you've accomplished most of your goals.
Yeah.
I love that. That's awesome.
I pretty much have too.
Yeah.
The last year I did the roller coasters up at Knoebels. If you're afraid of heights, I wouldn't recommend it. But
I'm not a roller coaster girl. You guys are brave.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend them.
So they weren't your favorite. You're not going back.
Not my favorite, no. I'll keep my feet on the floor.
I'm with you on that.
Now the water rides though are nice.
I like a water park.
Yeah.
I do like a water park. How could the community support you better?
Well, I think if more people would get along and less arguing, I think that would be a good start. I would have to agree with that because there's so much. What's the word I'm looking for? So much negativity in the world right now, and there's not so much positivity.
I think you guys add positivity to the world. What do you think? I try too. It's important.
It is. It is.
So you think just in general having a more positive and welcoming world would make the world more supportive to everyone, including you?
Yeah.
Awesome. What ways can people create more welcoming and inclusive spaces for people with disabilities?
Well, I think being polite to people with disabilities is one. Bingo. Is one. And two, it's where the other question was, just get along with everybody. I think that would be good. It doesn't matter what it is, just get along with that person. Yeah,
it doesn't matter who you are, what's going on.
It's perfect to just be polite with the people with the disabilities. Yeah.
Sounds like kindness is a big theme for you both.
It is.
And I love that. I think that's so important in this world that we live in.
Yep, nowadays anyway.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing some of your story with us. Is there anything else you want to share or let people know about you or being a part of this community?
The community of a whole is awesome. I feel like I should be the mayor of it because I know so many people.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you think there could be twin mayors?
I don't know.
Well, Mike, I think I would vote for them as twin mayors.
I was just going to say they'd get my vote immediately. I've seen all I need to see. I don't need to see the other candidates. We got the first time ever twin mayors.
Right. Really cool.
Ribbon cutting at Knoebels. Ride all the roller coasters.
Right. One of the things that really struck me was that they're both of them are just involved in all the things they want to be involved in. They're sports guys. They're doing all the things out in the community around sports. And when Bree asked them, like, what else do you want to do? I don't know. I think I've done it all. I got my bucket list pretty cleared. So that was one thing that I thought was really cool.
Yeah, you can tell they're definitely. I thought the same thing. That was one of the first things I noticed is they're clearly driving the ship. Like they're in charge of the trajectory of of where their life is headed here, and they have each other, but they're obviously looking for even more connection through these activities. Mr. 199, they're almost one pin away from a 200 game. You can tell they're really connected to a lot of different recreational activities, and also just super proud of the daily. I mean, I thought that was such a great answer to, like, what are you proud of? I'm proud of everything I am and that I do every day.
Yeah.
like just walking around proud. So
Yeah.
it's not one specific accomplishment, it's everything I've accomplished and the life that I'm leading. I'm very proud to lead. I thought that was a very cool answer.
Yeah, and I thought it was really cool that he said not only did they do a lot of things, but then I'm just living the daily life. So sometimes we think about, life in the community has to be big things, or it has to be, exceptional things, or like we think in terms of, are you going out and doing things? Are you active and all those things? But some of it is really just, do I live out here, and am I living my life the way everybody else is living theirs? And they said, I go to work, I have fun. That's actually what everybody does, and they're doing a pretty good job of it.
Yep. And some great advice for others too. Like, just be kind.
Yeah.
Be kind to people.
Yeah.
Like, what can the community do? Be kind.
Yeah.
It's not it. Sometimes it doesn't have to be some grand gesture to help people feel like they belong or they're being included. It's just being kind, asking a question, and how much fun would it be for the brothers to include you in their activities?
Right.
Like, I'd be flattered with an invite to Knoebels or to get out to
Yeah.
a game with those guys or to the bowling alley. So it's, it's not like, I think again, that theme of not just feeling like, we gotta connect the brothers with our stuff. It's
Right.
they're looking. You could tell they'd be more than they were happy to talk about all the things he rattled off, and then he's like, I didn't even know I was a fan of that many things, but I guess I am really connected to sports. So just the excitement and just for life, and really came across, and it really makes it gives me the feeling of wanting to be included in their activities and their day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, right, exactly. If I bring snacks, can I tag along with you guys? Yeah.
Right.
There's a saying where I like to ask the question, where does wisdom lie? And wisdom is often in the real life experience that people have. That's where like some of the best wisdom is. And so when they were talking about, there's so much negativity in the world and we just need some positivity, I'm like, wow, I think everybody is feeling the same thing. It's just a very astute and a clear observation of sort of where we are, and it doesn't hold true just for folks who experience life with some sort of disability. It's true for all of us, and so it brings us back to that we belong together, partly because we just share the common needs and the common wants that everybody has in terms of living that daily life. One of the other things that I also was struck by was, they have services, they have a support staff to come in and help them. And so when Bree said to them or asked them, what does your support staff do? They spoke very highly. Oh yeah, they're great. They help me with these really important things. What they help them with are the things that those sort of tangible things you need to get through your day, counting money, going grocery shopping, those kinds of things, which is a helpful support that allows them to be out doing the things that they really want to do. It lets them go to work. It lets them go to the ball games. It lets them go bowling. So the support that the staff offer is super important. But it's really just it is a support role. The staff are not all of that. They're not the community for them. They're the people that help them do a specific set of things so that they can get on and live the life that they want to in the community.
Yeah. You can tell that the staff is kind of the tool that allows them to access the community.
Yeah.
Like, this is now, it frees me up from doing these other things. I think he even said, like, it helps me relax.
Yeah.
Like, so now that I know I have some support in these activities that can be maybe challenging for me in some capacity, it allows me to connect with the community, which is what I really enjoy, is getting out there with my brother and doing these things. So I think it's like, without that tool, it does provide challenges to community connection, but because of that support network, they're able to be more connected and have that sense of belonging in the community.
Well, I think our next road trip is going to be to go out to a ball game with these guys. So
Absolutely.
we need to circle back to them and see if we can get tickets. So. So another person that Bree was able to interview was Kevin, and Kevin is just doing some really cool things out in his life. And so let's watch the video of that interview, and then come back and see what we think.
Hi, my name is Kevin Fortunato.
What are your favorite things to do in the community?
So I'm a very avid road cyclist. I love riding my bike with the Westchester Cycling Club. We typically do 3 to 4 rides a week in the summer. So I got my own bike kit, and I started out, kind of slow, but I have progressed tremendously over the last 4 years. I'm such a strong rider now. The camaraderie in the group is amazing. It gives me such a sense of belonging, and being supported. And everyone in the club sees me not for my autism, but for the very strong rider I am. And cycling, it's not just the physical part of it, but it's so therapeutic for me. It's done wonders for my mental health.
That's incredible. You might have just sold me on biking.
I always say biking was truly the silver lining to COVID. Because it's given me so much passion and so much happiness.
I love that. That's incredible. Very cool.
No
In
problem.
what ways have your support team helped you live the life that you want to live?
So meal prep and cleaning are both things that I need help with. So that's been a huge help. I am also someone that needs emotional support, someone to give me guidance on things and help me through challenging times. So I have a counselor. For that. His name is Dan. He's an awesome guy. He's so patient, so supportive, and he really understands me. And then I also have a therapist as well.
What would you say you're most proud of in your life so far?
So I've suffered with OCD, depression, and anxiety. And while there are times where it's been so debilitating, I've always been so determined to do the work. I've never given up, and I've always been determined to do the work to not let any of it impede on the life that I want to live.
That's really hard work, right?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Thank you.
That's a great thing to be proud of. What are some things that you haven't done yet that you would like to try or accomplish in your life?
In general, I would love to do more traveling, and I think I would definitely need support with the packing, the planning, and the financial aspect as well.
Okay. That's a great goal. That's exciting. What about a goal just for the summer this year?
For the summer this year? Well, I think I've accomplished that. There are in my bike club, there are ride levels depending on the kind of rider you are. So when I first started riding, I was riding with the C group, and each group goes a particular speed when they're riding. So the C group, when I first started riding with them, they go 12 to 14 miles an hour. And just last month, I graduated from the B plus level, and I started riding with the super B level, and they go 17 miles an hour or higher.
Wow, that's fast.
And a couple of weeks ago, I did a 75-mile ride with over 3,000 feet of climbing, which is basically going up. If you don't have a perspective of climbing, it's just going up a lot of hills. And I did all that while averaging 18 miles an hour for the whole ride, and I have never.
Really hard.
It was well, and it's funny you should say that sounds hard, because after I finished that ride, I said to myself, I'm imagining where I was 3 years ago, and I never thought that I would accomplish a ride like this, and to have now done that kind of ride, it's incredibly rewarding.
I can imagine.
And it reminds me that I can do anything I set my mind to.
Absolutely. Incredible. How would you say that the community can better support you?
So I always say, I've had people say to me in my life, I'm very open about my disability. I've never shied away from disclosing that I have autism, because it's part of who I am, and I want to stay true to who I am. And there have been many times where I've told someone, hey, I'm autistic, and sometimes people will say, oh, really? You don't look autistic. And on one hand, I can see that maybe they're trying to, in a way, be complimentary.
Sure.
However, they are seeing such a small portion of something that is so much bigger. They're not seeing the day-to-day navigations of life that I have to go through, and also the hurdles that I have to endure. And so it would be nice if people did not draw to their own conclusions or make assumptions, but rather would take the time to educate themselves to have a better understanding of the autism spectrum.
Absolutely. And it's true. It's you know, disabilities don't look a certain way or sound a certain
exactly.
way. Or
exactly.
there's so many.
And that's why it's a spectrum, because everyone is different. And you know, just because you have met one person who's autistic doesn't mean that someone else who's autistic might not have the same challenges that this other person has, and that's why, we shouldn't stereotype, we shouldn't judge or anything.
Absolutely. Yeah. Kind of in that same vein, what are some ways that people can create more inclusive and welcoming spaces? To
see people for autism for what their strengths are, for what they can do, to see them for what they're capable are, because to give them more chances, to see them how they to see them for how they shine, and to know that they are human, just like the rest of us, and they are capable of so much more than what we assume they are.
Absolutely. I love that answer. Well, thank you so much for taking the time
to
do this and sharing a little bit about your story.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to end us off with here?
A friend of mine once said, autism is a spectrum of awesomeness. So,
I like that.
And I think that's very, very true.
That is very true. I haven't heard anyone say that before.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
A spectrum of awesomeness is a really good tagline, a really good way to summarize, I think, what Kevin was talking about, what he's doing in his life. Bree said that maybe he had talked her into biking. I'm not going biking. I will go to the ball game with but I don't think I'm going to take up biking.
No, especially not the way he's doing it. 75 miles over 3,000 feet of elevation. Yeah, no way.
At 18, I thought, at 18 miles an hour, I'm like, none of those words. None of those words are working for me. Right.
I'm like, there's not enough padding or gear I would have to wear.
Right.
There's not a helmet safe enough. No, my first thought is like, how many interviews does Kevin do?
Right.
Because he was so good.
Right.
Like he was so comfortable. He's laid back. He's a great person to talk to, and basically, I thought like one of the things that I thought was really important is when he said that people would say to him, "You don't look like you have autism," right? And basically his answer was like, "Yeah, I make this look easy." Like it's kind of a compliment because I'm, I have day-to-day challenges, but I overcome them with such hard work that I make this look easy. So that's and I thought that was really telling because you can tell he's seems very outcome driven and focused. Like he mentioned putting in a lot of hard work. He has determination with his cycling group that he's really connected with there, and get some physical exercise in as well. And you can tell that community, although we didn't talk about it specifically, he definitely feels a sense of belonging to that cyclist community, and there's a drive to improve. Went from the B class to the B plus or whatever that was, and he's on to the C. So it's just cool to see him be able to articulate that trajectory and the connection to that, and to see him get excited about the way that impacts his life. Was really cool.
Yeah, I was really struck and you mentioned it, but I was wondering what it would be like to interview Kevin with some of his buddies from the bike club. Like how do they see him? Like he's a cyclist like they are, and he's doing the same thing that they are, and he's passionate about it in the same way that they are. They share this sort of singular passion around riding long distances and getting better and training for it and that. And so in that space, he's seen as a person who's really very competent. He's seen as a person who's really good, and they probably don't worry so much about any of the other things that somebody else who talks to Kevin might say, well, how do you do this or how do you do that? And to your point, he puts in that hard work for the day-to-day to sort of get through a day, but in that space, in the cycling space, he's just another guy.
And to think about as I'm listening to him, and with that story too, thinking about what if Kevin never got connected to that community?
Yeah.
Like, what if, I don't know the avenue that he took to get there, but it's such a big part of his identity and such a big point of pride for him that whatever the catalyst was that got him connected to that cycling community, what an impact that has had. And if he didn't, maybe it would have been something else. Sure, maybe he would have found his way there through a different capacity, but he whatever that catalyst was, got connected. He got connected to something that is now a huge part of his life, a huge point of pride, and a huge point of connection to the community.
Yeah, and you're right. We don't know the story of how that happened. How did they get started? I'd love to have that conversation with Kevin. Like, how did you get connected to the cycling club? But at some point, my guess is somebody included him. Like, they said, oh yeah, my name is so and so, and here's my friends. Like, somebody reached out and included him a little bit, and that's important. But this really illustrates what we're talking about, where you can be included, but at some point you belong. And so he definitely knows that he belongs in that space and is respected as a person who belongs in that space.
Yeah, and likely someone, either currently or in the future, who will help others feel like they belong, who will welcome people in to his community of cycling and help people feel like, hey, like he says, I wasn't always where I am now.
Yeah.
Like, I started out a little bit slower,
right,
and it took some time. So what a great person to help other people who may just be starting that journey, and to take a look at Kevin, spend some time with him, and like, here's how we can welcome other people now into this community where I started out slow. I wasn't always as fast as I am now, but check me out on 5,000 feet elevation. I don't know if you can go faster than 18. I don't know what the next year is.
I know I can't. I mean,
I don't want him to for safety purposes. I'm like, if you can go 22, that seems dangerous. Anything over 18. Yeah. But yeah, that's just another really cool story.
I also want to circle back. You mentioned this, but I sort of want to go back to it. When he was talking about, he's very open about who he is, and he understands all the parts of him make up who he is as a person. And that people sometimes respond and say, well, you don't look autistic, or you don't seem like you have autism. And his statement that may be well intentioned, but he really understands that when people say that, what they're really saying is, this is really cool. You're a really cool person in spite of this thing. But that the fact that you have this thing diminishes them just a little bit in that person's eyes. And really what he's saying is, I am who I am, and this is pretty darn good. And I'm bringing all of myself to my life and to the people around me and to the bike club and all the places I show up in. It's not that I'm capable in spite of. I'm just capable because I am a human being with capacity. And oh, by the way, I know the things I don't do great. And I get help for those things. I have people who help me with I would love to go traveling. I would probably need somebody to help me pack. Well, you just described me. I would also love to go traveling, and probably I could use a little bit of help with the checklist. So the idea that he understands himself. He's figured himself out pretty well. He's had help to do that, but he gets help. He knows the things he needs help with, and he gets help for that so that he can get on and do all the things he wants to. But none of that, needing help for something, he recognizes that it doesn't diminish him in any way. And I think that's just a really good lesson when we think about helping each other. The fact that we all need help with something doesn't diminish who we are as people. It just makes us fully human.
Yeah, that's a really good, I was noticing the same thing where he mentions that he understands what the intention might be. Yeah. Is to say, like, I'm giving you credit in spite of this. And what he's saying is, no thank you. Right. Like, I think my stats stand on their own. Right. Like, I think, and sometimes, similar to the brothers that we just watched and listened to, I have some support in place
Yes.
to help me with some of the stuff that can be taxing and challenging, so that it allows me a space to be connected to the community, which is what I'm really looking for, and what helps me feel like I belong here in this space. So I think that's just another example of how the tool of support can be used to help people kind of follow their own vision. For like, what do I want in my life? What do I want my future to look like? So I thought that was really cool.
And we all need tools, but the big picture is still what we want, how we want to live our life out in the world. So we have one more video, and we're going to watch, and that's Tamba, and he talks a little bit about his family. So I'm interested in us watching that, and then coming back and talking about the family aspect of how we are in community and what family does for us.
Hey guys, I'm here today to ask some questions of one of our special guests. What's your name?
My name is Tamba.
It's great to have you here today. What are your favorite things to do in the community?
My favorite things to do in the community is hang out with my family. I like to do Special Olympics.
Ooh.
I like to go for walks. Also just try to be a better person and just enjoying life. It makes me feel good once I basically try different things.
I love that. So it sounds like you're very adventurous and like to be outside. That's awesome. In what ways would you say your support team has helped you to live the life that you want to live?
They've been doing an excellent job. Mostly Alexis. She knows so much things about me. Also
awesome.
Dimitri. He's been there as well. It's just it's kind of like a blessing just to have them both in my life, and I'm just really blessed to have all of them as my team, and I enjoy it.
They're a good team. I love the shout outs for them. That's awesome. And then what are you most proud of in your life so far? Sounds like you have a lot of goals to work towards that we talked about, but what are you most proud of so far?
I guess I'm just proud of the way that I took initiative of my actions. I've been down different routes, but at the same time, I have the help of my family, Alexis, Dimitri, and everybody else that are part of Access Sources. It's been kind of amazing to have such a powerful team, and the comfort of it. It makes me feel pretty good.
That's awesome. I'm really happy to hear that. And what are some of those goals that you're looking forward to in your future?
Someday move out of my family's house.
Okay.
Then get married, have kids.
Wow, that's awesome. I love that. I love that. What are some things that you would love to do but haven't gotten to do yet in your life? Sounds like getting married is one of them, which is great. But what about some other things?
I would like to travel.
Okay. Anywhere specific?
Mostly like different countries.
Okay. One of the other things I've been wanting to ask is, what are some ways that other people can create more inclusive and welcoming spaces?
It's just like just trying to know the person better. Also just trying to understand them, and pretty much just trying to see what they like, what they don't like, the emotions.
Okay. So it sounds like being known and getting someone to know you and what you love and who you are is a big part of that.
Exactly.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Well, thank you so much for answering. Is there anything else you want to share with our audience today?
Sure. Having the having a disability is it's kind of like sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's tough, but at the same time, it's just people will recognize you and to appreciate you more because nobody knows what people are have if you don't ask.
Right. Okay. That's great.
So one of the things that really struck me when I was listening to Tombo was his connection to his family, and he referred to his family and then some of the support staff that are in his life as his hub, and then later he said, he was talking about the importance of knowing, of being known, and Bree picked up on that when she was asking him that question. And so just the idea that some of belonging is a place where you're known, and people they know all of you, and so he alluded to some hardship, some challenges maybe that he's experienced, but his family is a place where he's known, and his hub is a place where he's known. So that just felt pretty important in his story.
Yeah, I thought so too. I picked up on the same thing, and I think what also stuck out to me was that it was unclear, and kind of like, is he including his team as family?
Yeah.
Like that, is that how it feels? That's
Yeah.
kind of how it feels to me. Like, because these are the people, like you said, who know me, who truly know me, who understand, and when I do encounter challenges or struggles, he mentioned the support through the team. Big shout outs to Alexis and Dimitri.
Yeah.
They're obviously doing great work with him, because he does mention that they see sometimes some of the challenges and struggles and push him by helping him develop the tools, whether it's communication or whatever that looks like, because they understand. They're like, hey,
right.
they're probably thinking like, hey, we get it.
Right.
We need you to help communicate it to other people.
Yes,
So,
right.
That's going to be an important tool for you to have, so that other people get the capacity to know you and understand you like we do, and like your family does. So, also just another, all three of the interviews. Just super positive.
Yeah.
Everybody's on a journey of development, and you ask him, what do you want to accomplish? He's like, I want to be a better person.
Yeah.
I'm so happy with where I am. I'm so proud of my current situation, but I consistently want to improve. I want to be better. I want to help my community. You hear those themes of like, we could all be a little more kind.
Yeah.
We could use less negativity.
Yeah.
We should all try to be better people.
Yeah.
And so, those are some themes that are just, they make me think of things I can do hour to hour, day to day, to help impact people's lives around me. And I think that's, like we talked about, this kind of like practical support of your community.
Yeah.
We're talking about individuals that are in programs that offer them support so that they can lead fulfilling lives with self-determination. But outside of that, like, what can you do as a friend, as a family member, as a community member, to also foster that same thing in people, and to allow that? So I think that's a cool theme of the talks today.
Yeah, and Kevin and Tom have both said that, like get to know somebody. You don't know until you ask, or educate. Kevin said, educate yourself. Like just be kind. Know that you have something to learn about another person, and let them sort of teach you a little bit. I think, one of the things that struck me while you were talking was sometimes we don't give, and it goes back to what we were saying about Kevin and not being diminished, or not doing well in spite of. Like, when we realize that a person's whole self informs what they think about and how they are in the world. When folks have experienced maybe somebody being unkind, or somebody not really listening to them, they then sort of understand the importance of it. And then I sort of see all of these guys being sort of ambassadors for can we get along well, And can we really be good humans to each other because they've experienced in their life something less than that? And so they're good message bearers of that.
Can we flex a little understanding?
Yeah.
Can we all be better to each other when we're not in our best day?
Yeah.
I just need you to ask the right questions.
Yeah.
So that you understand where I'm coming from on my great days, on my days where I really show up strong, and on my days where I could use a little support. Like, we're talking about folks that receive maybe some formal support. That's not uncommon to the community at large. Everybody requires some support. Yeah. Everybody requires some question asking.
And I think that's good for us, all of us, to sort of keep in front of our minds. And lots of times when we think of the word disability, or we see somebody that we perceive might have a disability, we think of difference. We think of what maybe they can't do, or what we think they're not able to do, or what we think they need, when really I think the one of the big threads through all the interviews we've seen today is we are all really much more alike than we are different. I hope this stimulates your thinking about how when I'm out in the community, how do I get to know somebody? How do I ask good questions? How do I share in some way? How do I bring somebody into my space, or let them invite me into their space? And then next time, we're going to talk, as we said, we're going to talk to some folks who are creating community space. They're out in the community. They're just creating public spaces for people to be in, that everybody's invited. And it has nothing to do with ability or disability. It's just we're all sharing this space because we're fellow humans walking the planet. So until next time, Mike. And we will get t-shirts. It'll be cool.
I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks.
This has been a blast.
This has been a lot of fun. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. We hope that you enjoyed hearing from people who are strengthening our communities every day. Search for and follow us on your preferred streaming platform to hear future episodes.